Greetings, geeks and nerds, and universe and white and nerdy. Sub- Time for another YouTuber subscriber poll vote, and this one was in very close second to the last one, which was Power Rangers in Space, and it's kind of fitting that I'm wearing my Blue Beetle shirt since the Blue Beetle did voice a character in this. But before I get into the topic of today, I'd like to get into a story. The only reason why it took so long for me to upload and make a premiere of it for YouTube, not because I was waiting for the time to be right or anything like I usually do, is that this is my old Xbox 360 power adapter, and the last the last video I did, Power Rangers in Space. Shortly after I did that video, I decided that I was gonna play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Then the adapter went. It screwed up what I was doing. So basically, my Ezio Auditore assassinated my Xbox 360 adapter. So I had to go and order a new one. Except the one that I ordered was for a completely different Xbox. I think the original Series 1 Xbox 360, I believe, because I have the more different version of the Xbox 360, like the second version that they put out. So mine took the one pawn. So I had to go back and reorder another one. So I was able to have it. So this was a nightmare to replace just so I could do this video. But anyways, you guys wanted me to talk about Thundercat 2011, which is kind of fitting for the channel, especially for today, which is Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day to our brave men and women who fight in our services, and let's keep in memory all of those who have fought and who have served. Not just the brave men and women in our armed forces, but also the brave men and women out there in the EMT, fire department, police department, and also many, many more. You are all brave soldiers in your own rights. But this is also fitting for Memorial Day since this can be a memorial service to a great and underrated series. Yes, I am of course talking about the technically remake of Thundercats that happened in 2011 that a lot of people were against. And I'm sorry to say that I was one of them, but I'll come back to that toward the end of this video. But for now, let's summon the Sword of Omens, summon the mighty Thundercat to our aid, and talk about this great and amazing, underrated anime series and the reason why it was unfortunately cancelled after only 16 episodes. This is my recap and revisiting and review of Thundercat 2011. In this future of Thundercats, Thundera is a proud organization, a proud city, and a city standing proud upon the history of the Thundercats becoming famous. But unfortunately, the city is still not perfect. Crime runs rampant, and there's even racism that goes among the streets of the fair cat city of Thundera. But within the city walls, a young king must rise up for his people, become the next prophesied one to lead the Thundercats and become king of Thundera. Or else all will be lost, all will be destroyed, and everything that Thundera has will be lost to history forever if he doesn't step up and become the proper king. For Thundercats, it's technically a remake of the original series. I can't help but make a theory, although it's kind of off-putting of a theory, but it is my own theory that this is the second or third generation of Thundercats based off of the original team. Yeah, I know, it's kind of like, yeah, it's iffy with the new king and all, basically, and they, with the new king and all, basically, but it's my own little fun theory that perhaps maybe that a lot of the character that this could be like the second or third generation, but unfortunately, I'm not gonna go any further than that. Yet, the voice cast has been chosen by the great and amazing Andrea Romano, as she is one of the best that chooses voice cast, as she's helped work in Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, and so many other countless animated series out there, as she has chosen quite the amazing cast for the Thundercats, and really putting quite together a great team, both of heroes and villains. And it's impressive to me that she got such a great cast of characters, especially voice cast characters, to be put together and doing this. So before we talk about the mighty Thundercats, why don't we talk about some of the villains? Not all of them, because the others that show up later on during season one don't really get anywhere far. So let's talk about the villains of the series, starting with the great and amazing Mumra. Mumra, voiced by Robert Atkin Downes, who does a pretty good job at capturing the original Mumra. As at first, Mumra might seem like nothing more than a decayed mummy who's awaiting his death, but he knows that deep down inside, he's more powerful than he lets on and what people believe that he is. As Mumra is still pissed off that he still once hold a legacy above the cats, but before was betrayed by the Thundercats himself and was transformed into a decaying form. But no matter in what shape or form that Mumra holds, he will never defeat or destroy the mighty Thundercats, as good always triumphs over evil. But Robert Atkins Downes does an amazing job capturing the Mumra.
You can only dream of. Just when I thought I was winning.
Then there's the great and legendary Clancy Brown, who does a great job voicing the Thundercats who betrayed the Thundercats, Groon. As Groon was once a mentor and a great warrior and proud member of the Thundercats race, even training Tigra and Lionel when they were younger and being respected by the king. Including being a respected soldier and warrior till the king, and even working alongside the great and amazing Panthro and was renowned a hero by all until he backstabbed them. That's only because Groon decided to find more power in that of Mumra than he does alongside the Thundercat, betraying everyone, including his own best friend, Panthro. As it was Groon that reawakened the great Mumra and decided to rain terror once again upon the Thundercats' world of Thundera just because he wanted more power. And besides, who else is better to voice that of a betrayer, especially a villain, than the sexy, sweet voice that comes out of the great and amazing Clancy Brown?
Join us, Panthro. Together we can rule all of Thundera. What has he done to you? He's promised me the means to do what I...
Now that is definitely a voice actor that is worthy of voicing a villain. So because of course he has also voiced Lex Luthor, but some people forget that he was also the great and amazing the great and amazing Kurgan from the Highlander series. Also, I've been told that he's been voicing a certain crabs on this show about a talking sponge that lives underwater, but I'm certain that that didn't become a such high grossing and high successful series that lasted 13 going on 14, and I'm pretty sure that it already is confirmed that it will be a season 15 of SpongeBob. Him voicing a greedy crabs? That is never a thing that's going to happen, unfortunately. But aside from the Thundercats, there are also the return of the great general from the original Thundercats. But because they showed up late in season one, they didn't have much of a character transition. Because Azure Mumra was basically that of a once powerful general who again ran to rise to power. This is not exactly the same as that one that we had from the original that was there from the beginning. So, we do have to unfortunately skip over Slice and the other generals, but not because of anything bad, of course. It's just that the season didn't last that long enough to really give us a focus on these great and amazing characters. So let's go over and talk about the Thundercat side, the heroes of the series. But we're gonna save the great and powerful Lionel for last. But as his character transition was probably the greatest one to have happen in the series. But and also the great Corey Burton voices Jaga. I'm just throwing it out there because they introduced Jaga. He's there. He's in a flashback episode, and then he disappears. I think it probably was because Corey Burton was kind of busy doing other voice acting roles. I'm pretty certain, but or they just wanted to remind people like in the original series, Jaga is dead. That's why he turned up blue everywhere. So yeah. Also, people might be disappointed if they are a fan of the Snarf voice, because Snarf, you know, there is no Snarf voice that comes out of Snarf, and Snarf. But I think that the voice actors behind Snarf in the series did a great job at capturing a different type of Snarf that mostly meows. So think of like Gary or Gunter from Adventure Time or Gary from SpongeBob SquarePants, that he mostly is a silent character that sometimes meows, purrs, and makes noises. But let's talk about the other Thundercats in the series, as this series definitely did a great job at summing them up. Starting with the great Matthew Mercer, who voices Tigra in this series and does an amazing job at voicing him. As this version of Tigra is not like the original. This one is snide, cocky, and has some sort of a great attitude that goes against his entire team, especially his brother. But of course, Tigra is that of a faithful soldier. He's there to help out and back up his friends, especially when he can, especially his brother, who he does have terms with because of what happened. And Tigra believes that he is the one that is worthy of the Sword of Omens, and not his own brother, even at times butting heads with him so much that he is determined to become the next leader. That even when something eventually happened to his brother later on in one of the episodes, especially towards the season 1 finale, he had to stand up and stand for himself and become the next king. As even though Tiger butts head with Lionel a lot, he even admits that his brother is of a great king and that he was worthy of being of the Sword of Omens, and he will follow his brother to the end. As it is very clear that their relationship is that similar to Loki and Thor from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, except not as dark or as twisted with a bunch of backstabbing. As Matt Mercer does an amazing job voicing the immortal Tigra, as I think that he captured him very bad, even better than the original series in my opinion.
I'd understand if you don't want to follow me in there. We'd follow you anywhere, Your Majesty.
Then there's the great Kevin Michael Richardson, who does an amazing job at voicing Panthro. As Panthro is an old warrior, an old cat at that, and a great and valuable soldier and a mentor to the team. And at last, the team is happy to have him, but at first he's much of a hardhead. And Panthro is also the team technician. He's the one that advises all the technology, and he's the one that always advises what's better to do in a situation, and at first had butt head with the young Lionel. But despite butting heads with the young Kane, Panthro is still a warrior at heart, and I think that Kevin Michael Richardson does a great job at voicing this old soldier of a character.
Any idiotic order he gives me,
I guess all the stories of your undying loyalty were exaggerated.
you'll have my loyalty when you show me you can do more with that sword than just...
Then there's the great and talented Emmanuel Shiraki, who does an amazing voice and amazing job at voicing Chitara. As Chitara is a lot more than just a femme fatale. She's a brave soldier, and in fact she's a cleric trained by Jaga, and she is there mostly to help the team in the best way that she can. As her immense speed is the thing that helps out the team the best, as she's the one that mostly is the speedster of the team, and every team always needs a classy speedster, especially one like Chitara. That as a child, all Chitara wanted was to be gratified as a cleric, that she even shared a special relationship with Tigra since he managed to save her young life. And this was how the two of them ended up forming a relationship that would carry on for the rest of the season. Well, we would have a season 2, but except it got cancelled.
I heard about what you and Lino went through in there. I feel I've contributed to it by not being clearer with my feelings.
No, it's pretty clear you made your choice.
Also, I'm not one that's really that is a furry or into that kind of culture or anything, but god damn, is Chitara in this series waifu material. I mean, the way that they drew that body of her, I'm like, god damn! That's all I can say at the moment. It's like the nice curved body, almost like an hourglass body. It's like, I hate you, but I respect you and love you all for this. Now for talk about Lionel, and they got a really good voice talent to voice Lionel. You might remember him from Boy Meets World, Batman Beyond, and probably most notably being the voice of Blue Beetle on Batman the Brave and the Bold. Yes, I am of course talking about the amazing and young and very talented Wilfredo, who voices Lionel. And to voice a young Lionel, I do believe that Wilfredo was the perfect casting choice to capture this amazing character. as will definitely treat the role as Lionel with a lot of respect and courtesy that really goes to show that he knew the fan base would be upset if he wasn't a good voice for Lionel. As it is nothing short of amazing that this young man can still voice young characters even still to this day and do an amazing and impressive job at doing so. And Lionel at first was arrogant and disrespectful towards his new role as a leader slash king, as he wanted nothing to do with it and he wanted nothing to do with the king role. But eventually, over time, Lionel became a king that people could follow, and his words and his voice and the way that he speaks had so much power behind it that it forces people to follow in his footsteps.
It's time to go home.
And Lionel was set up to become a great king, and the one destined to bring back Thundera and to bring forth the Thundercats, and to bring forth the greatness of the Thundercats that was once there. But as amazing as this series was, it would eventually become cancelled, and eventually a season 2 was no longer made, for very sad reasons. For as you can see here, this is all that remains of the Thundercat 2011 series. Book 1 and Book 2 DVDs that you can find pretty cheap no matter where. I got these at my local Dollar General because I was curious to check it out, and I was surprised of how good it was, both writing-wise and animation-wise, which almost followed along like Avatar The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra, where it's like borderline anime combined with an American cartoon, which is perfect for this series. As after 16 episodes and one season with a season 2 planned, the boycotting became too much, and unfortunately, Cartoon Network pulled the plug on the series, and regrettably, in a dark joke, they pulled the plug like the plug was pulled on my original Xbox 360 power adapter. But unfortunately, the plug was pulled because of boycotts, and regrettably, I was one of those people. I was the one that just didn't want this series to happen because I grew up with reruns of the original series back on Boomerang, and it was my mother and father that introduced me to the series. I was a fanboy too much, and before this series came on back in the day, they replayed the original Thundercats series every episode just to kind of get people hyped up for it. Unfortunately, the hype didn't last as long as they wanted to, as people regrettably turned against the series and gave it the cold shoulder. But hear me out. Go and check out this series. Even if you were against it and boycotted it, this is still one of the best ever made Cartoon Network series and animation series ever. And I would be glad if they ever went and did a season 2, as this would be an amazing series to have a continuation. But unfortunately, it joins the rank of Symbiotic Titan and the Teen Titans series as ending on a massive cliffhanger that unfortunately will never be answered. But you guys picked a good one because this is a great series to remember and memorialize for this Memorial Day. So do yourself a favor and check this series out, as it is a wonderful, terrific, and fantastic series that anyone can and all can really enjoy. So be sure to grab your Sword of Omens and call forth whatever Thundercats that you can, because this series is amazing and deserves to be remembered. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. No, I'm not calling it X. It was weird because when I logged back on there after everything changed over, I'm like, what the hell happened since I've been gone? But no, I'm not calling it X. I'm still going to refer to it as Twitter. And also, guys, be sure to please check this series out. It's really damn worth it, and it's well worth your time. And I can see why you guys should have chosen it, because it's a great series to memorize. So, thank you guys so much for watching Everybody's Universe. I'm White Nudie. This has been a Wade's Universe review. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. But the YouTube subscriber poll for you guys isn't over with yet, as you guys had picked a pretty good one to stand out among the ranked. We had Power Rangers in space, we had Thundercats, and now we're gonna hang out with the team of superheroes in Japan that basically can be seen as the grandfathers of superheroes. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I really knew it. I'm White Nerdy, KB Canon, and until next time, guys, and as always, take care.